just as you thought you were about to learn a secret or two, I have decided to hit you with the great safety lecture. This may appear tedious when you want to get on and shoot, but safety is one aspect of your shooting that cannot be overstressed. Fortunately for everyone, safe conduct is as easy to learn as the other kind. Safety is the ultimate no excuses part of this video. Please give it your full attention. The shooting sports are covered by two types of law: the written and the unwritten. As far as the written goes, we have provided this. This covers the law relating to air guns as it stands today. Now, these laws change and make it your business to keep abreast of them. The unwritten laws are just as enforceable and just as important. They cover safe handling all the way through. They begin with the golden rule. Never, ever point a gun at a human being. You can add to this the need to never point a gun anywhere where you wouldn't want a shot to be fired. This includes livestock, other people's property, or over any land where you don't have full legal permission to shoot. Once you've grasped the need to pay full attention to this first rule, we are in possession of the key to safe conduct. Rule number 2, handle all guns as though loaded. This may appear overcautious to some. The fact is, you cannot be overcautious. Another fact is, over the years, hundreds of people have been injured with guns thought to be unloaded. Get this one straight. As far as safety goes, they are all loaded, always. Rule 3, learn the rules of range safety. These rules vary, but you cannot ignore them. It doesn't matter if you're shooting in the Olympics or you're puncturing bean cans in your back garden. What lies in front of your gun's muzzle is your responsibility. It is up to you to take the precautions. Eliminate accidents by predicting their potential source. Check your range for blind spots, which could hide the approach of human, cat, or dog. Seal any doorways or entrances to the range to prevent this from happening. Don't rely on the common sense of others to eliminate accidents. You have the rifle, therefore you take the responsibility. Rule number 4, don't take chances of any sort. Remember, it only needs to go wrong once to affect somebody's life forever. Now, make your shooting and your safety automatic. It's easy to learn, you must learn it. Right, I think that's enough of the talking. Let's go on with the shooting, shall we? The basic requirement of accurate shooting is control. Consistent handling will give you this, and understanding the needs of your shooting system is the first step. Spring-powered or gas-ram systems have special needs. Nothing complicated, just room to breathe a little. The other systems have less demanding requirements, although for each to give up its true potential, similar handling is necessary. I will concentrate on recoiling rifles for most of the instruction, although everything I'm trying to teach here applies to all systems. Many of you will expect to be doing most of your shooting from the standing position. That's fine. Problem is, it's also the least stable position in the book. We'll go to ground on this one. As we intend to point a rifle, even if it is unloaded, always remember to treat the range in front of you as though you would for any shooting session. Don't get slack just because this is a dry run, okay? Right, study the stance. This is the most efficient, unsupported shooting position in the world. It was developed by field target shooters, and various versions of it have been the base upon which thousands of trophies have been won. Look at how steady the rifle sits. No muscular effort required, so nothing gets tired or starts to twitch when too much adrenaline flows. A human tripod is what we are going for. Total control, and the kind of relaxation you only get from yoga sessions. The perfect shooting position starts quite literally from the bottom. Use a decent seat, like a beanbag. It's warm, it keeps you dry, and it offers support. It's an essential little item. Try to use one. After snuggling down on the beanbag, we find ourselves with our arms wrapped around our knees, feet flat on the floor, left hand resting on right. Feels a bit strange at first, but it all becomes second nature after a while. Now, introduce the rifle. Mount the gun, strictly uncocked and unloaded, remember, with the butt pad slightly down from the shoulder and the fore end resting over the crook of your left arm. This is obviously a right-handed position, but works just as well for lefties. Now rest your right hand on the grip, keeping your finger off the trigger, and return the left hand to its resting position somewhere over the right wrist. Settle into the position, looking through the sights, and try and ease out the discomfort. The ideal version of this stance will have each elbow supported by its adjacent knee, locking the structure securely without strain or effort. After a surprisingly short time, you can flop down into this and almost nod off. Don't give up on the position lightly. It is the foundation of your shooting. That was the overarm version of the sitting position. There is another way, known as off the knee. Let's see if that suits you. Same basic format, although we begin by facing toward rather than side onto the target area. This time the rifle is mounted in the shoulder, with the fore end resting on the knee, usually supported by the left hand. A glove is a great stabilising influence here, and necessary in my opinion when shooting a recoiling rifle. These guns don't like to be rested on hard surfaces such as bony knees, so the glove provides a nice bit of insulation. In time, you'll adapt your own version of the sitting position. Subtle changes will take place and comfort and familiarity will be the result. However, do not modify the basic stability out of the whole thing just because it feels a bit awkward at first. Here's a few positional disasters to avoid at all costs. The most common, easiest, and certainly most pointless of them all is the elbows on knees position. Who on earth would build a stable platform by propping a pair of bony elbows on an equally bony pair of knees? Some can make do in this position. You did not buy a video to teach you how to make do. I could show you plenty of silly make do positions, but our time is more valuable than that. Get yourself stable, then the results will follow. By the way, I do realise there will be shooters out there with genuine ailments who can't bend themselves into a decent sitting position no matter how hard they try. I have 6 bolts, 2 pins and a couple of bone grafts fusing the lower half of my spine, so I do know what it feels like. The main thing to remember is to try to get rid of the tension and introduce a little bit of relaxation into your position. You know, it's nearly time to fire a shot. Okay, so now we need something to fire at. As this is probably the first proper instruction most of you will have received, I dare not skip the basics. Make a backstop which will deflect all pellets safely toward the ground, or one which will absorb each shot and contain it. Any decent gauge metal plate will do as a deflector, while a large wooden box stuffed with cardboard, carpet, or even tightly packed newspaper will do the absorption job for you. Don't rely on a piece of wood alone to absorb the shots. You don't want pellets bouncing back past your face, so plywood and chipboard are both out. Remember as well, always check that the backstop is up to the job before you begin shooting. Place the target board 10 yards from the firing point and sit yourself down in whatever position you find most effective. With your pellets handy, and after a final visual check around the firing area, cock your rifle and insert a pellet, leaving the safety catch to do its job until you are ready to slip the shot. Remember to keep itchy fingers well away from the trigger, safety catch on or not. Aim for the spot in the centre of the target, disengage the safety, and gently squeeze the trigger. You may be using a scope or open sights at this point, it doesn't really matter. Just repeat the shot 5 times, as consistently as you can, after which, lay down the rifle and study your result. If all you have achieved is a random scattering of holes, which could no way be referred to as a group, repeat the manoeuvre until some sort of order is established. Some of you will see 10 yards as a bit girly. Not so. If your rifle is shooting spot on at 10 yards, then it is also zeroed for 35 yards, due to the pellet flight characteristics I'll cover later. Not only that, it's a great deal quicker to zero on a large board at 10 yards than it is to do so on the same target at 35 yards. So stick with a 10-yard target, all right? It's time to fine-tune the zero. In this case, the pellets are landing low and to the left of the spot. Without wishing to insult anyone's intelligence, I still need to advise that you move the vertical adjustment of your sights in an upward direction and the horizontal adjuster to the right. There is a right way to do it though, despite the painfully obvious basics. Methodical and patient wins the day here. Move each adjuster a few clicks at a time, then fire 3 shots after each adjustment to keep you on the right track. Don't whiz the adjusters around, fire 1 shot, then spin them back the other way. You'll be chasing the zero all day if you do it like that. Take it a stage at a time, study the effect, and readjust as necessary. By the way, I've been talking quite a lot about zero. I suppose I better tell you what one is. When you've reached a zero, it means there is zero difference between where your scope is pointing and where your pellets are landing. That's about the simplest way I can explain it. There are 2 types of sight usually fitted to an air rifle. Open sights and telescopic sights. Now, open sights are quite sturdy, basic instruments, windage elevation, adjustment, nothing much to go wrong. They can really take the knocks. Whereas a telescopic sight is a little more complicated. There's a fair bit of technology stuffed inside this little tube. A series of lenses, some held rigid, others designed to shift the image as the adjustment turrets are wound in and out. It's the quality thing again. Recoiling rifles dish out more punishment to a scope than most live ammunition weapons, and only the strong survive. Some scopes will have parallax adjustment, which basically is a focusing front lens. Others will have variable magnification, and a good tip is to try to shoot on the highest magnification setting you can. This will magnify your errors and allow you to address them. Optical quality and proper construction will be wasted, however, if you don't use precision mounts. Tighten everything securely without overdoing it with a screwdriver, and keep a check on things from time to time. A telescopic sight definitely magnifies your chances of success, but only if you use it properly and treat it with a little respect.